Welcome to the newest RV interview. We're here with Monette Michaels. This is one of her newer books, Eye of the Storm. And Monette has been coming, what is it?
The first book.
The first book, there you go.
Yeah.
And she's been coming to the event for, we just decided, 13 years. This is our 15th year. You've been here for 13 of those.
Yeah.
As a extremely valued, very generous sponsor. So we can't thank you enough for that. So that's you being a generous sponsor and a talented author. And you did editing or publishing or something as well for a long time, right?
Yes. Yes. When I first started coming here, and they still have most of my backlist. My backlist is at Liquid Silver.
Okay.
And they were actually a sponsor for a while. And I was the acquiring editor for Liquid Silver. So when I first started coming here, I would do
you had
editorial,
on the editor hat.
Add on the editor hat and the author hat. I had to keep switching them back and forth.
Yeah.
And some of the authors that I've met here signed with us, like Maddie Barone and Paige Tyler. I signed them to Liquid Silver, and then they've gone on to do bigger and better things. So yeah, but.
Because Liquid Silver is gone now, I think, right?
It's
no,
still
it's still here? Is it? Okay.
They opened their doors in summer of 2000, and they are still going strong.
Because there used to be, like, this plethora of publishers, and then some of them fell by the wayside. I think Amazon kind of caused problems, but so Liquid Silver is still with us. That's wonderful.
She is a very good businesswoman, and what she did is she cut her back of the house to the bone, and only takes new novel-length stories from established authors at Liquid Silver, and she takes novella lengths from new authors.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's
so
nice.
she's still good. She's a good friend of mine. I really like her. Good businesswoman, good friend, and believes in the arts.
So do you publish with her, or do you publish elsewhere?
I basically, I published with her, and then I had a Canadian publisher, LTD Books, in Laura Adlam, but she retired to get a degree in anthropology.
Okay. Wow, that's a switch.
I know it is. She got a cultural anthropology degree, and so then after that, I basically went indie with some of those books, and now I'm totally indie. I've left some of my backlist with Linda because, well, I'm kind of a loyal person. So,
right. Yeah. Oh, and I'm sure they do just as well. You know.
Yeah.
Being there.
Yeah.
So how many books have you published now?
In all lengths, I think about 30.
Wow, that's pretty nice. When did you first start publishing?
I basically started writing in 1995. I think we discussed this. We both
that's
started,
right, when you first got her.
Yeah,
I remember that.
We both started about the same time.
Yeah.
And my first contract was in 1998. And so I've been publishing ever since.
Wow, nice.
Yes. I'm not a fast writer.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. So how much time, do you have a dedicated so much time per day, or do you just when you can fit it in? Because I know you have lots of other obligations.
Yeah, it's when I can fit it in. For example, my husband just went out west with his sister on what I call it, the Tesla car trip of the Western United States. Yeah. Yes. And supercharger to supercharger. And while he's been gone, in 2 weeks, I wrote 55,000 words.
So that freed you up, and you were able to get a lot done.
I can write fast if I don't have anybody demanding my time. But you know,
and that rarely happens for an author, that they don't have someone demanding their time.
You know, and you know, we've been married 47 years this year. We've been together 49. He's a type 1 diabetic, so he has some health issues, and so I basically I take care of him.
Right. And of course, you have a long marriage, you're in love, you know, and then I always tell people when I write that I have a priority system. So I can't say how many pages I write a day, because I can have all kind of plans for writing.
Yes.
And then one of my, when my kids were younger, one of them would need something, or the school would call and say they were sick, or there would be a field trip that day. And your priorities get juggled, and you rearrange what's most important, because for me, family always comes first.
Yes, and my husband always comes first.
Yes.
Because I always
mine
come
now
first
that my
him.
kids are all grown, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, my husband's been retired for 13 years, so it's kind of like he gets lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll come in, he goes, "Are you done writing yet? I get so lonely."
Aww.
I know, it's so cute, isn't he? He's cute. So yeah.
I was talking to some other authors the other day, and one was telling me that her husband always comes in and wants her to go to the movies with him.
Yes.
And so my husband will work around my schedule with that. So usually it's me telling him, I want to go to, and you know Alan, my husband.
Yes.
And I'll say, I want to go see this movie, and he'll say, well, when? I'll say, well, depends on how much writing. 1:30 if I'm done writing, otherwise 3:30 if it takes me that long, because I don't go very late, because I'm a really early riser early to bed.
See, I'm the other way.
Yeah, I thought you said that.
I go to bed at 3 and get up at 10:30.
Oh my goodness!
And my brain doesn't really. This is really bad for me. My brain does not engage until 1 o'clock.
Really? Oh yeah. So now, and I dragged you out here for this early interview.
And I had to put eye makeup on.
Yeah, there you go.
Really
the sacrifices we made.
I know.
But you know, one reason why I started this event was because I didn't want to have to dress up. So this is for people that enjoy that, knock themselves out. Otherwise, I always tell people, I'm going to be in jeans. You guys can wear whatever you want, but I'm going to be in jeans and flip-flops. Yeah. So that was one reason when Diane Castell and I started this ages ago. We wanted more time for everyone to talk, which I think we accomplished. Yes. And I wanted it to be super casual, so no one felt pressured to go buy a new wardrobe.
And that's why I like this conference, because it's casual. The bigger conference, I'm not really good in large crowds. I'm okay one-on-one. I'm okay in small groups, but last night in the ballroom, I was getting a little claustrophobic. Yeah. So
because we have a max of 500 people, but usually, I mean, you're in a boardroom, there's not 500 people, or you're making your way to something. So there's usually not all 500 people in one spot, except like you say at a party. Yeah. And they all get in there.
Yeah. So. Well, when I do the boardrooms, I think that's where I usually hang out, because, if I do a boardroom with someone, I feel like I need to be there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to, because there's a lot of traction in those boardrooms.
Yeah, that's why we always have a schedule.
And then, yes, and then you also donated the schedule, and you donated in part the schedule, and you donated the goodie bags
with Paige,
which are beautiful this year. I love the color.
Did you love the yellow?
I did, and when I saw them all piled up together, look at that lemony mound of
it was a good yellow.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a really good yellow. And,
we've run out of colors. We're going to have to start over.
I know, but that'll be okay. Maybe
we'll give you another choice next year.
Maybe we'll tweak the design a little bit so they look slightly different. Okay. Maybe white on a purple instead of black or something. We'll switch it up.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that, though, that you said you'll be back. I just see a bunch through the window. I see that yellow. Yeah. So Beth last night said, if you walk across the street to do something, because it's reflective, she said, carry this to keep yourself safe. And I thought it is a really bright but really pretty yellow. Yeah. So it was a good choice.
No, Paige and I are going to do it again. So.
And the schedules are beautiful as well.
Yes.
I really like the pretty flower on that.
She designed them.
Janet, who's
our assistant that I share with Paige. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So what's out next, do you think?
The one that I wrote, the 55,000 words, basically I sent it to my critique partner, and I said, it's not done, 2 more chapters. I wrote up until the night before I came here, and I sent her 18 full chapters at 82,000 words, and so another 10,000 words, and then after she's done eviscerating it, it'll probably be 110,000 words.
So she's going to do that to you,
She eviscerates me every single time, which is why she's mean.
But you like what she does.
It's tough love. It's tough love. Well, I'm mean to her too, so.
Yeah, if someone edits and you feel like it adds to the story and it's not stomping your voice, then that's a good thing.
Oh, no, she's strong and I'm strong. If she's trying to tell me to do something that I know is not part of my voice or part of my vision in my book, I just ignore it.
Right. And that works between the two of you because you know each other that well.
Oh, yeah. Well, her issue is flow. Plot flow, and that's what I'm strong at. Yeah, sequencing action scenes and character arc. Okay. Yeah. My problem is when I send her first draft, I haven't gone back and do what I call tweaking and putting in layers. And so she reads it. She says, "You need more feels here. You need more feels here." Well, gosh, Sherry, I'm going to put the feels in. Yeah. You're seeing the first draft, So, but she understands. She's making sure she knows where I think I need the feels. And that way, when she says you need them here, then I don't have to worry about them someplace else. So I trust her. Yes,
that's good if you have that. Now, I know authors write in different things. I've talked to authors. Nancy Nagel was talking about sticky notes she puts everywhere, and authors who do a rough draft and go back and polish, then polish once more. I sort of write and I'm done unless my editor makes me do something else. But I think it's fascinating that authors do. This is the thing when someone says, how do you write? Because they're trying to figure out how they need to write. I very much believe each author needs to figure out what works for her. Because it's very, very different. Yes. If I try to tell someone to sit down and write a clean manuscript start to finish, they would go nuts. If that wasn't their writing style, if they needed to do a rough draft. So, and vice versa. If I said, no, you have to do a rough draft, and they're more like me, they want to polish as they go, then it would make them nuts. Yeah. So I always tell people, experiment and find what works for you. Whatever when you're writing makes you most productive and you're most comfortable with, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's why sometimes when I do a boardroom, I teach plotting here, and everybody says, well, you need to have an outline. I said, no, you don't. And the other people say, you need to write by the seat of your pants. I said, no, you don't. You can combine the two, and that's how I do it.
Right.
I know certain points that I have to hit along the way, and then it's free for all between those points.
How you get from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah, the transition scenes are all the part of the creative process. And so as long as I know if I get to A and I get to Z and there's spots to hit between, I'm good.
And you've got it covered. Yeah. So that's sort of like Karen Rose. Karen Rose said, because she writes suspense, right? So she has to figure out what the big suspense on. So, but then Chris Feehan and I both just sort of sit down and make it up as we go along.
She writes suspense too.
Who does?
You do.
A tiny bit, you know. Nobody would really call it suspense, but I throw a tiny bit in there, you know. So it's funny how they'll label us sometimes. This is romantic comedy, and as an author, you'll go, was it that funny? Because I didn't realize. Or they'll say, this is romantic suspense, and you'll say, was it? You know what I mean? When the reviewers will label us.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think there's always humor in mine because there's humor in life.
Exactly.
So, in fact, Sherry she emailed me back. She says, I got it. And she said, I really love that scene with the guys where they're joking around with each other because, they're teasing the guy because, he likes this one woman, but he won't approach her because she's keeping all the guys at arm's length. And so they're all teasing him. And they're
men do love to give each other a hard time.
Yeah, and they were giving him a hard time, giving him pointers. Yeah. And she thought it was hilarious. And I said,
awesome.
That's what I wanted to do. And it's in the first part of the book. It's kind of like, it's one of those draw you in type of scenes. So you want to keep on reading to find out, well, does he get the girl?
Right.
Yeah. And he does.
Even when you finish a chapter, you don't want to finish it so someone feels like they can close the book.
Oh, no,
you want it to finish so they just desperately want to see the next page.
I call that the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys way of writing.
There you go.
Remember when you read Nancy Drew, there was always a cliffhanger at the end of every chapter.
Yes.
And I would read my son, the Hardy Boys, at night, a chapter. And he goes, well, Mommy, keep reading. I said, no, honey. You need to go to sleep tomorrow. When you wake tomorrow night, we'll do the next chapter. But I want to know what happens next.
That's how you know you've done a winner.
That's right.
So Monette Michaels, thank you so much for being with us. This is this lovely cover, Eye of the Storm. That's a gorgeous cover.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you on many levels.
Okay, and I appreciate you having us.
All right.